Welcome back, sports fans. We are ready for my thoughts on the Baltimore Ravens game against the Kansas City Chiefs. First off, congratulations to the Chiefs on winning the opening day. Um, Good game all around by both sides, but I do have a couple of complaints on the Ravens' end. Let's start off with the good stuff. Um, I guess the first good thing about this team was um, the Ravens' offense. I thought was pretty solid. It, especially early on, I liked the aggressiveness in the opening drive. I liked the read options that Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry did. I think if they keep running that, that'd be a big pickup for this team. And I think as a result, it'll look a lot better, even if it coincided with some bad penalties, which we'll get to in a bit when I talk about the negatives. But another thing that I really liked was I liked the aggressiveness of the front. I thought we had a lot of pressure on Mahomes all game. Like the I liked the amount of forced throws we made him do. I especially liked the aggressiveness on fourth down with the sack up the middle by I think it was Ojabo. I think it was David Ojabo or Justin Madubuike. One of them had a really good sack right up the middle and took down Mahomes. I enjoyed that. Another thing that I liked about this team was uh, the I thought running the ball we were pretty solid between Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. Um, a couple and big of offense, Isaiah Likely and Zay Flowers both had nice games. So, but let's go on. Oh, Justice Hill too. Shout out to him. I thought he had a really solid game. Let's go on to negatives. First negative is of course the play calling, especially on offense. I Good day. How many times I raged at the screen passes? That was bad. It's just like every other play was a screen pass. Don't run the screen passes. It only picked up like minuscule of like 5 yards, 6 yards. It barely did enough damage. Throw the dang ball deep. Deep. You saw how effective Isaiah Likely was. You saw how effective Zay Flower was. If you had to pass it, go to one of those guys. You don't have to do a dang running back screen to Justice Hill every single freaking play. That was the first bad thing. And speaking of the offensive line, we gotta talk about that. That was another disaster piece. Very disappointed in the offensive line's performance, especially the right side. Strip sack, strip sack on Rosengarten's first ever snap. He gets beat by Chris Jones. Lamar Jackson goes down for a strip sack. So many times Chris Jones had pressure on that right side, and McCary, Falala, and Rosengarten all did not have very good games. I was surprised to not see Josh Jones in there for a couple snaps. Just see what he can do as a bit of improvement. Anyways, yeah, that was very disappointing. And of course, we gotta talk about the defensive play calling. Hey, 1-on-1 against Xavier Worthy? What? Really? You're gonna trust Marlon Humphrey to go 1-on-1 against Xavier Worthy when he's clearly lost a step and is not as fast as he used to be. If you're gonna do that, pin a safety deep. Spy maybe Kyle Hamilton deep on them. And if that's the case, let Kyle Hamilton get involved in the deep shots. I was impressed with our nickelbacks, both Eddie Jackson and Ardarius Washington. I thought both of them had nice games. But Eric Washington, not so much. Bit disappointed in him. I'd be surprised to see him get scratched a couple games this year for Brent Urban. Also a bit disappointed in Travis Jones. I felt like he didn't have much of a game. either. Similarly, our front seven besides Roquan Smith really didn't feel like, I guess they would have Jabba too, but besides those two and Matty BK, there wasn't really much out of that front. And then offensive line, right side, not very good. Wouldn't be surprised next week to see if Foley and Frozen Garden and McCary still don't look as strong as I said before. Wouldn't be surprised to see Josh Jones get a couple of snaps. Wouldn't be surprised to see Ben Cleveland get a couple snaps in. But yeah, that not a good game from the offensive line standpoint. Oh, another thing. What are we doing on the final drive in the red zone? Sort of likely fine. It was unfortunate that his toe was out of bounds. And it was a disappointing way to lose. But what are we doing on the Flowers play? You're gonna put Justice Hill on Chris Jones. Really? Justice Hill on Chris Jones. That was the first disaster. No wonder Lamar Jackson had to panic it to Zay Flowers, despite Rashad Bateman also being relatively open. And of course, when Lamar Jackson throws it, he airmails it. But that Justice Hill block on Chris Jones, what are you doing there? If you really want a back in there blocking, just go Pat Ricard. Just go Pat Ricard. You could go Derrick Henry. But Justice Hill? Really? Justice Hill is not a blocking back. He's a receiving back. In that back room, your blocker is Pat Ricard. Go Ricard there. It's not that difficult. If you want to have an extra back blocking Chris Jones. But no, you choose Justice Hill. Of course, Chris Jones has all the time in the world to get there. Ugh. So, and of course, Lamar Jackson didn't have to panic it. And so does Zay Flowers ready yet. And neither of them were on the same page. Not a good final drive. I would say it was still slightly disappointing, even if likely caught that, because we could have gotten it right there and then with the wide open Flowers. If we had a better blocker on Chris Jones, and B, Lamar Jackson didn't have to panic it. It could see Zay Flowers open. You could maybe see Rashad Bateman. Also, with the final thing before I log off, the timeouts. We should not have 2 of our 3 timeouts done before the start of the fourth. 1, okay, fine. You have to do that to get set. Feel like you're running out of time. But 2, and then all 3 of them before 2-minute warning. Why are we being so wasteful on the timeouts? I don't get it. That's my thoughts. Everything needs to show improvement next week. Luckily, we played the Raiders. Luckily, we're going from Patrick Mahomes to Gardner Minshew. But, man, I really need to see more improvement from this offensive line, especially against Max Crosby and Christian Wilkins. See you later.